Yes! Get in! I'm Adam, welcome to the 2 Network. It's finished West Ham United 2, Newcastle United 3. We're out of the relegation zone, we're up to 15th. What a victory. I'm absolutely delighted. We all saw the team. We looked at Diarmi and Save in the middle with a perplexed look on all of our collective faces. The inquisitive eyebrows were raised. And they've both contributed to what is an absolutely vital 3 points away from home. It's within no doubt that was a relegation 6-pointer. Huge victory to stop the rot. It's our first victory, I think, since the Crystal Palace game. It's our first victory in about 10 Premier League games. It's huge. Psychologically, that is massive ahead of what is going to be a really tough game against Man City, who are just unstoppable. They've won the 17th game in a row this season. But let's get back to the Newcastle game, the West Ham game. We went with a 4-4-2, Rafa. He knew that a draw probably still wasn't enough and that we needed to, like I said, a 6-pointer. We needed to get ahead of West Ham, who were always going to be, you know, they're going to be battling with us down at the bottom of the table. No doubt about it. I question the mentality of David Moyes and his ability. I think he's very lucky to be in that job. And I think we've gone there. The last couple of games, we have been fairly unlucky not to come away with draws. The Arsenal game, we had a chance to, right at the end, we defended resolutely throughout. But for a wonder strike from Ozil against Everton, we hit the woodwork a couple of times. And again, Everton weren't great and we probably should have punished them more, and we didn't. But I thought that was one of our most complete performances. If you look at the Watford game at home, I would say we didn't perform in either half and we were absolutely in pieces. I think in this West Ham game this afternoon, we've performed in the first half, we performed in the second half, and we applied a lot of pressure. And it was given it was a nervy 20 minutes at the end with Andy Carroll coming on. We'll get onto that in a bit. But we've absolutely deserved that. We've absolutely deserved that game. So let's start from the start. It was a 4-4-2, Hoslu Gale up front. Lejeune dropped, Clark and Lascelles back in the centre-back positions. Atsu and Ritchie back out on the wings. And Save and Diarmi in the middle. Now, Arnautovic, I mentioned him in my last video, how his form had improved quite vastly over the last few games. He scored against Chelsea. He'd had a good game against Stoke as well, his former team. And it was the forgotten man, Henri Save, coming into the side, basically gifting possession to Arnautovic, who, you know, when he's dribbling, he's strong, so he can keep people off the ball. And he went to dribble between a couple of our defenders, got to the edge of the box. Elliott came out, but he's found the bottom corner with his right foot, his wrong foot, as it were, but he tucks it away, and you just thought, we've done it again. Huge game, lack of concentration out the traps, and we've given ourselves a mountain to climb already. And Save has his head in his hands, he's distraught. But what happens next? We get a free kick on the edge of the box, and Save he's had form for this. He's had form for free kicks. He scored one in an international game a couple of years ago, or sorry, within the last year or so. And in his club career, for me, whenever I've seen Save play, he's never been terrible for me. I don't think he's ever been worse than how Diarmi's played the last few games, for example. Whether it's an attitude thing, whether it's a communication thing, like the Mbemba, I've got no idea. But when we're kind of crying out for someone with energy, strength, physicality, and look, if you can do that from a free kick, I mean, what the technique on it's absolutely superb. It really reminded me of, and I don't mean to put him in the same bracket as Leon's famous Brazilian Juninho Pernambucano. I think I've pronounced that right. I'm sure you'll mention in the comments if I've got that wrong. And what he's done is he's managed to he's lifted it over the wall, but it's dipped. It's dipped right in the corner, away from Adrian, and he can't get to it. I think if it crosses the line higher, the higher plane, I think Adrian saves it. But because it just dips right down, he can't reach that far, and it's absolutely pinpoint accuracy. It's a beautiful free kick. Absolutely beautiful. So he immediately makes amends, and suddenly we've got a game on our hands. We've got our tails up. You can hear the away fans going crazy because we need that. And from then on, we created quite a few very good chances, actually. So the first one we got, it was Gale off the bar. I think it's Richie down the right wing. Sorry, it was Yedlin. Just check my notes. It was Yedlin down the right wing, who's been a constant outlet for us down the right wing. Probably one of our most dangerous players in an attacking sense. Maybe that compromises his defensive abilities, as we know. He's cut one across to Gale, who side-foots it off the bar. Now, if you remember against Everton, we had Richie hitting the post unluckily. We have Marino hitting the inside of the post unluckily as well. And, you know, it's just not falling for us. Once again in the West Ham game, Gale hits the bar. If he smashes that in, we're on a rampage. He doesn't get it. Later on, a short while later, Richie cuts in from the right, as he always does, on his left. And he's curled one. Adrian's nowhere near it. He's completely beaten Adrian. It's off the post, and it comes back out, and Diarmi, with a classic Diarmi finish. Again, we'll get into that in a minute. Classic Diarmi finish, skies it into Rosette. So, again, it's another game where we've hit the woodwork twice and seemingly not capitalised on good pressure and good possession that we've had and really good counter-attacks. Like, we really put them under a lot of strain, I thought. And I thought Atsu was excellent. He was just a constant thorn in their side. Certainly Zabaletta's. And there was another, before half-time, there was another effort from Gale where, again, we just kept getting in behind their fullbacks. And once we realised that we'd spotted this deficiency in their defending, we went for it again, and basically that's how we went and scored a couple more in the second half. But in the first half, Richie, I think, got in behind the fullback, and I think it's Cresswell, and he's pulled it back, and Gale's got to do better from there. He's leaned back, and he skies it, and he knows, I mean, it hasn't gone that far over the bar, but you're talking, you know, around the penalty spot. He's got to be bursting the net there. He has to be. It's such a good chance. Head in hands again. He knows he's hit the bar on the last one. You think his confidence is shot. Maybe it is a bit. And, you know, it's... You think, again, it's going to be one of those games. We know how this narrative plays out because it's played out the last 9-10 games that we've played. Always happens. So, we've definitely gone into half-time thinking we're the better chance. We've had the better chances. We've definitely been the better team. They're shaky. You can tell that their fans, you know, I don't think there's much to that atmosphere in that London stadium as it is. But when things aren't going right for them, and you've got Moyes at the helm. Look, he's an okay guy. I just don't think he's a pioneering coach. I just don't think he's going to be doing anything mind-blowing. I think he just plays it safe. I think tactically he's got a couple of ideas, but it's David Moyes. He's so lucky to be in that job. I just think I always felt that we could do something. When we come into this in the second half, again we've got tails up, and it's the danger man, Marko Arnautovic again. Pretty much what he did for his goal, but he tries that again. He beats about 3 men this time. And he's cut in from the right hand side. He's on his left, and he goes to try and curl it in the far post. Elliott goes to reach it, but he's hit it massively off target. Now, the quality that he has, I mean, this is Arnautovic's issue. I mean, I've spoken to a Stoke fan that I work with, and like a lot of Stokes players, like Shaqiri, for example, Arnautovic, brilliant talent, but so very inconsistent. But we saw the best of him in the first 6 minutes, and that was another another dangerous attack that he kind of created out of nothing. But he just drags it wide, and it was quite unlucky, but it was a big chance nevertheless. And you just think, if they take the lead at that point, we're in trouble, because we know how we perform when we go a goal down. It usually turns into 3, turns into 4. It's just how it's gone. However, the last couple of games, we've defended a lot more solidly. And as I mentioned in the last video, we don't play, certainly in the first halves of games, we don't play like a team that's sinking like a stone down the league. We have ideas. We've defended pretty well in the last couple of games as well. And, you know, it was a wonder goal that caused a defeat against Arsenal. It was a terrible goalkeeping error that lost the game against Everton. So you think, we're getting a lot of things right. It's not like we haven't got team spirit. It's not like we haven't got fight. We've got fight. We showed fight today. And we showed fight in other games as well. And we've just not got the rub of the green. But we went ahead. Clark brings the ball out of defence, finds Atsu on the left wing, who's been a pretty constant threat. He finds himself in a bit of space. Zabaleta is there. And Zabaleta is one of those players that, if you look back one of my transfer target videos from the summer, Zabaleta was one of those that I thought Newcastle should be going for. Experienced in the league. He's been there, done it. He's won the league. He's a commanding voice and an experienced voice in the dressing room as well. But his form hasn't been amazing. I mean, the same with Joe Hart. I would have taken Joe Hart at the start of the season. But again, I probably wouldn't take him now. I wouldn't. I'm not sure many people would, even though we do probably need better quality. But we've done all right today, given what Elliott managed to achieve. So Atsu's taking on Zabaleta, and it's a sumptuous nutmeg. There's no better way to describe it. He's so unpredictable, Atsu, but he often lacks a final ball and intelligence, but he's a very good direct runner, and he always asks questions of defenders, fullbacks, and he causes problems. And he gets the ball, little deft touch through the legs of Zabaleta, he's completely gone, and he's straight away. He's up, he's looking. And Diarme's there's a load of bodies in, but Diarme's making a late run in behind another player, another West Ham player. And Atsu has the intelligence, the composure to play it back across around the penalty spot. And when Diarme meets it, and I mentioned his miss earlier, and he skies it, and Gale's shot, which he also skied, it's sort of similar to the Gale chance, really, but from the other side. And he stabs it with the instep of his boot. And funnily enough, I mean, he definitely didn't mean to hit it as high as he did. It crashes into the roof of the net in the top corner. But in doing that, he's missed heads and bodies. I think if he hits it low, it probably doesn't find the net. I think it deflects. I think it gets blocked. But he doesn't. He mishits it. He definitely didn't mean to hit that as high as he does. In, smash, and the crowd go wild. Well, the Newcastle fans go wild anyway. I'm going crazy as well. We've gone ahead. We've pulled it round. We've shown amazing character, as we did against West Brom. We've pulled it round from being a goal down, and you think, wow, well, there's still a lot of football to be played at this point. Shortly after scoring, I think it was within 2 minutes, you got Mikel Antonio, who's one of their better players, but he's sort of been a bit relatively quiet in this game so far. Clark commits himself. He goes in, he makes a challenge outside the box. Seen the replay, he's definitely outside the box by about 2 feet, I'd say, comfortably. And the referee's had a shocker. He's had an absolute nightmare. The referee has given a penalty. He pauses for him. This is the worst thing. He pauses for a second to think about it. He obviously has a word in his ear with the linesman. So you think there's 2 of them complicit. in making what is a monumental error of judgment. Awful refereeing. I mean, and again, it doesn't surprise me. You look at the referee's performance against Everton and the fact that Rooney didn't go away with the yellow card, yet Shelby gets sent off. It's things like that that when you're down at the bottom, you need those things to go for you. And it really did. We'd been in the lead for about a minute and a half. Andre Ayew steps up. But he's very nonchalant in his penalty taking technique. He did one of those Beppe Signori ones. He did the two-step with his left foot to try and disguise where he's going to put it. Except, actually, I've just remembered, one of our defenders, possibly Yedlin, before the penalty's taken, runs up to Elliott and just has a little whisper in his ear. And I wonder if this was something that they'd picked up on in training and Rafa had talked about it, or whatever, that they know that Ayew likes to place. I can't fact check this at the minute. I'm just giving you an instant reaction. But I think Yedlin definitely has a word in Elliott's ear, if it is Yedlin, before the penalty is taken. Ayew takes two steps and hits it at the right of the goal to Elliott's left. It's at a very comfortable height, but he still made a really strong save, Elliott, and pushed it out. It's a brilliant save, under the circumstances particularly, and the fact that it shouldn't have been a penalty in the first place. And then I think it comes out to Antonio again. He takes a really heavy touch, but he's being marshalled by Clark, I think it was. But the important part is our defenders were straight out to that rebound, made it difficult for them to get another shot on goal. It's out for a goal kick. Lascelles kind of jumps on Elliott, and Elliott's just trying to calm everyone down and not get too excited because he knows there's going to be a barrage from the West Ham players from now until the full-time whistle. And that is, again, one of those turning points. Rob Elliott is, he's like a Christmas RoboCop delivering justice. He's played a blinder. And from that, West Ham started putting a lot of pressure on, as we would expect. But it was from one of their corners that we managed to spring, and one of the most impressive counter-attacks I've seen us perform this season. So I think it's come right back to their centre-backs, just inside the halfway circle. And Yedlin is the most forward, he's the most advanced player, and he goes to charge down the defender, who fluffs his lines a bit into one of his own players. Gale has really, really quick thinking to pass it across into the centre circle with Atsu. So Atsu's takes it, he carries it from halfway line. Hoslu's run up the left. There's an opening for Gale on the right-hand side if he sees him. But he goes for Hoslu, who delivers a very similar cross, albeit a little bit more advanced, but he delivers a pull-back left-footed cross, very similar to Atsu's for Diame. For Atsu himself, close to the 6-yard box, nobody's picked him up. It's a sheer pace that's got him there. 1-2 with Hoslu, essentially, and he's swept it across the goalkeeper into the goalkeeper's bottom left, bottom right hand of the corner of the goal. Gale goes off to celebrate. Atsu goes off to celebrate. Fans go wild. It's 3-1 away from home. We haven't won in 10 games. And absolute scenes. However, there's still about half an hour left at this point. And you just think, I've been here before. I know how these things turn out. I know what will happen. So, what do West Ham United do? What do they do? What would you do? West Ham United bring on Andy Carroll, former Newcastle United striker. And immediately their game plan changes, as it would. And they just start lumping balls up to Andy Carroll. And he's causing problems. And suddenly, even though we're 2 goals clear, we're away from home, and we've got a massive, massive lead to defend. We've capitulated before. There's no reason to say we wouldn't do it in such a crucial 6-pointer at the bottom of the table. Andy Carroll's winning a lot of headers. They're aiming everything for him. They're trying to get shots away. They're getting more corners. They get a corner. Aaron Cresswell delivers it, and he's on charge. I think there's 2 men on Andy Carroll at the back post, but they cannot stop him attacking the ball really well. I must say, he was such a danger. Goes to attack at the back post. Elliott makes the save, and Save unfortunately makes his second error of the game, and he allows his man that he was marking, Andre Ayew, to dance away from him, and Ayew pounces on the loose ball from Elliott's save. He couldn't really do anything about it, and it's a tap in, and it's smashed into the roof of the net. It's a really cheap goal to give away. Credit to Carroll in making that happen, but defensively we've got to be better there, and suddenly it's 3-2, and it's so nervous. And from that moment on, even before the goal, the Ayew, for the West Ham second, we've sat back. We've allowed them. We've invited pressure from them onto us, and we actually were playing really, really well going forward. And in sitting back, we nullified our own attacking threat in a way. And we just, when we tried to bring the ball out on counter-attacks, we struggled. We struggled to keep ball. We were hacking it away. We were almost trying to time waste in a way. And it was on 75, 80 minutes. There's still a lot of the game to play. And they, again, looked for Carroll all the time. But I've got to say, Jamal Lascelles, captain fantastic. His man-marking display in those last 20 minutes against Andy Carroll was absolutely superb. It was brilliant. When Andy Carroll first came on, he was winning a lot of headers. But it was like Lascelles just ramped it up to the next gear. He levelled up Jamal Lascelles. And he was climbing, and he was winning headers against him. And he was huge. He was trying to nullify their biggest threat. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He ended up getting a limp. He was hobbling around because he's obviously exerted himself too much. But he was everywhere. And there was even a Carroll shot in the last 10 minutes where Carroll's gone, it fell for him. It took him a bit of time to try and set himself for a left-footed shot. And Lascelles has just thrown himself. He threw his body at the shot and it deflects out. And that epitomises Lascelles for me. It's passion, it's determination, and the attitude, the mentality, the winning mentality, the siege mentality that he was trying to galvanise this back line to sort of, to protect what would be such a precious and is such a precious 3 points. So Perez came on for Gale, who didn't really impress much, didn't get much of the ball, but it was extra legs, it was energy to try and high press them. We had Save, who came off for Chancel and Bemba, who just added another player into the back line. And, to be honest, at that point, I don't even know where he was playing because we just had a couple of lines of men back. We had a couple of banks of defenders back anyway. So whether he was playing as sort of just in front of or was actually just a third centre-back, it was probably more likely he was in as a five-man defence just to protect that lead. And that was Rafa's tactical shift, which he needs to have credit for because it worked. Rafa needs to be given credit for the fact that he started Diarmi and Save, probably against most recommendations. But they've both scored crucial goals that's got us 3 points. Later on, Atsu got a bit of a knock and Murphy came on. Again, not much time to really affect anything, but it was such a nervous final 20 minutes to that game. I'd bite my nails all the way through that. It was absolutely awful. And just as I thought, they got a free kick. It was deep in the stoppage time. It was 4 extra minutes, deep in the stoppage time. And the linesman's, it was aimed towards Carroll, as you'd imagine. Linesman throws his flag up, and you're thinking, spot to pull, it's a penalty, it's another penalty. It's not. It was offside. And I'm thinking, right, that's definitely the last attack. All Elliott has to do is knock it up, keep them in their half for a minute. We were struggling. We really struggled for possession in the last 15. It was ludicrous. But again, we give a free kick away on the halfway line. Adrian comes up, pumps it at the box. It's a corner, and you just think, I've been here before. I know what happens here. Corner came in, flicked over. I think it's Yedlin or Richie goes to kick it away, and that's it. The referee blows up. It's the final whistle. And an absolutely huge, I can't stress how big that win is. I am elated. I'm absolutely delighted. It was an embattled performance. And we finally got points on the board that we deserved, I think. So many times this season, we've been so unlucky not to get a draw, nick a draw here. Things have just gone against us and it's been defeat, 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 defeat. But I don't think we've played as badly as our form suggests. Yes, we've deserved to lose a few. Of course we have. But some of them definitely shouldn't have been defeats. Should have been draws, maybe the odd win. So I'm absolutely delighted. And, you know, if Gale had put away a couple of chances, it would have been out of sight. But as it happens, when Newcastle United, this is what we do. It's roller coaster. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, we're up into 15th as it stands. We're only 4 points off Watford in 10th. This is how crazy this league is, how tight the bottom half of the table is. 4 points from top half. I mean, we've got Man City next, so don't be expecting to be 1 point away from that, because I honestly think Man City are going to absolutely destroy us. I think even the way we've galvanised in this crucial match, and you can see me, I'm bright red. I was exhausting just watching that game. And Man City are absolutely rampant. 17 wins on the bounce. They're going to make us 18 wins on the bounce if they manage to keep up their form. There's nothing to suggest that they can't turn us over, but I didn't expect us to win 3-2 today. Stranger things have happened. I didn't expect West Ham to beat Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. It happens. I didn't expect Bristol City to beat Man United in the week, but it happens. Football's weird and wonderful. That's why we love it. Anything can happen against Man City. I think what we'll have to do to try and... I mean, there's only so much you can do to nullify against the threat of Man City, and they're interchangeable players that everyone knows what they're doing. They're rampant. They're weaving. Even the lead strikers will pull across. Sterling will go in the middle. Sane. Bernardo Silva got himself an assist today, and he's been largely on the bench all season, so he even... Give him one chance and you'll see return straight away. You got De Bruyne, who's one of the probably standout midfielder of the season. Silva's on incredible form. They've got maybe a slight weakness down the left-hand side, although Danilo scored today and kept a clean sheet. So it's going to be really tough, but there might be rotation. They might get complacent. They might think it's Newcastle United. They've been playing terribly. We might get to see a slightly more of a B team. Obviously, their B team will probably make, what, 5th, 4th in the league at the minute. It's insane how much depth they have and how much momentum they have from a tactic that is just killing teams. It's pulling them apart. So we're going to have to be resolute. I would say I'd probably prefer to see Lejeune ahead of Clark. I thought Clark did okay today, a bit better. But daft error nearly cost us the game ultimately. That tackle shouldn't have been a penalty. It's not his fault that it was a penalty, but it was late to that challenge. And if that goes in, I think we lose. I think if that penalty goes in, we lose. He owes Elliott quite a lot there. And I think Lejeune's just got a bit more guile on the ball. And we're going to struggle for possession. I don't know how far away Dummett is, but I thought McHugh was okay today, but again, Arnautovic had a bit of joy, didn't he, from that right-hand side. So I don't think Dummett will come in straight away. I think you'll at least give Dummett a couple of sub-appearances before he makes him start games. But what do I know? It's Rafa Benitez. He's going to do his own thing. I think Yedlin, Lascelles, Elliott's in. Interesting what he does in defence now. Defensive midfield, sorry. I think he probably... does Marino come in? I'd like to see Marino come in, and I'd like to see Save. I know he made a couple of errors today, but he could be that player who is that strong, energetic defensive midfielder. He's good at set pieces as well, so that's an extra weapon that we have. I would like to see that combination. I don't think Shelvey's mentality is right at the minute. I think Atsu's so dangerous. I think he's probably my man of the match, closely followed by Lascelles due to that last 20 minutes. I think Atsu will start, Richie will start. And does he go for it? Does he go for 2 up front again? I'd be surprised if he goes for 2 up front again, given how open that would make us. And I think we have to almost play for a draw, really, because ideally it's difficult. You might think 4-4-2. Let's take the game to Man City. Let's try and do something that most teams absolutely cannot do and haven't been able to do all season. We're kind of in a position where we've got nothing to lose because we're playing Man City, the best team in the league, who have probably one hand on the trophy already, you know? So I think I'm going to call it. I think he'll go 4-4-2, and I think you'll play Gale and Hossley up front. Hossley got his assist today. Gale got himself the chances, but couldn't finish. But he passed into Atsu for Atsu's third. Both Gale and Hossley were very much involved in that winning, what ultimately turned out to be the deciding goal. I think you'll go 4-4-2 again. We've got nothing to lose. We've just got to win. Get our backs up around Christmas. Fans, we'll have their tails up. We've got nothing. Let's just go for it against City. Why not? Why not? Do we just sit back and just allow them to play their game? You need to take the game to them. Yeah, they're probably going to punish us on the break, but I think if we sit in deep, they're probably going to punish us eventually anyway. I'd much rather see us try to win a football match against another football team and try and put away. Obviously, you've got to be mindful of the threats that they possess, but they possess so many that I guess all you can do is go for it. I'd like to see him do that anyway. Don't know what you guys think. Comment in below. Let me know what you would like to see them do from a formation perspective, from a lineup perspective against Man City. But anyway, I've talked at you for so long, ranted again. But what a victory. I'm absolutely delighted. What a Christmas present. Up in the 15th. Beautiful. It sounds beautiful. You know, you got teams like Huddersfield, nicking a draw at Southampton. We could have done with Southampton beating that, but at least Huddersfield haven't won. Brighton have got a really crucial win today against Watford, I think it was, 1-0. And Crystal Palace Swansea drawing is probably good news for us. Sharing points. And West Brom got a tonking as well. So that was pretty important. Although it was against Stoke, who've been down there as well. But I think I'd like to write West Brom off already. I think they're massively in trouble. And they've got a terrible manager. Right, I'm going to end it there. Thanks very, very much for watching, for listening. I've been Adam. This has been the Toon Network Match Report. West Ham 2, Newcastle United 3. It's a crucial 3 points. Atsumi man of the match. Merry Christmas, everyone. Remember to subscribe if you don't already. And catch us on Twitter and Facebook. Audio versions of videos. I'm a couple behind because of my technical issues I'm suffering from at the minute, but I'm really trying to rectify that as soon as possible. But they'll be up on SoundCloud and iTunes as usual. Take it easy, everyone. Have a really, really good Christmas and have an extra couple of glasses of Baileys to celebrate after this win. Thanks, everyone. Get in Rafa Benitez. Give him credit he deserves because tactically, he absolutely sorted us out today. I've been Adam. This has been the Toon Network. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.